Lucio Boliver has designed costumes for some of the best entertainers and production companies in the business for over 25 years. As a lead dancer, he was wearing costumes before he began designing, creating, and constructing them. Lucio's company, DYNAMX, has a stellar reputation for quality, reliability, and innovative visionary design. Lucio's work complements, improves, and enhances every production and every headliner star's image. Lucio has designed and fabricated costumes for many different Las Vegas shows. He is the exclusive costume designer and creator with Carnival Cruise Lines, where his clever creations are included on multiple ships with multiple shows. His visions and designs are worn by leading entertainers such as magicians Mark and Ginger Kalin, and more. I adore him. I adore his creativity, his positivity, and his vibrant passion. Lucio understands how to fit a costume to adapt to movement and magic. A good costume designer can create a distinctive image and brand that makes you stand out, so you will pop. I am so grateful that Lucio is here to chat with us today about upgrading your brand, your image, and your look. Let's hear some of his secrets and keys to success. Lucio, thank you so much for taking the time during a costume setup and wardrobe setup to talk to us. I really, really appreciate it.
No, thank you for inviting me. And this is a great experience for me to share my experiences to this amazing adventure called costume designer.
Well, I've known you for a long time, and I know that you've designed for many magicians. And since United Magicians for the World is focusing on magicians, can you tell the viewers how is it different for you to design for a magician as opposed to designing for a headliner?
It's a totally different, because it looks like it's just a costume, but it has tricks into the costume that you have to be like. First of all, camouflage is so many things inside the lining, inside the, like even the construction is a different from just making a garment for a headliner. So, and magicians has a different requirements too. You know, they have a different needs. The brains works differently. They try to what you say this in English, disguised.
Right, disguised.
They imagine your brain to actually fool you as quick as possible. So you have to work with these type mentalities. There's different. So because I think they can fool you too. And
can you give an example of something that you've hidden? Could it be, is it an apparatus inside a costume perhaps, or?
It can be a harness, it can be silks, it can be animals. So I don't know, it can be a hand, it can be a whole entire half of the body. They actually, you have to appear from somewhere or make it something with them so you actually can create that trick.
Right. Now, do you actually design it with the magician usually, or do you create the designs and then try to adapt it to the magic?
The best thing a designer can do, you want to design for a magician, is collaborate with a magician with the trick in mind already. Of course, many magicians, you go to a store and buy something and from there you start changing it. But the dream is to actually build a costume, especially for the magician, for sure.
Now, in the case that you're actually creating a costume and a wardrobe and a look for a specific magician for a specific number, it's got to be a lot more costly than because just you yourself, it takes you more time working with a magician than it would, for example, a singer, which is it's just a look.
Yeah, well, you spend more hours, then you go try and error. So you have to unstitch it all over again, and then you have to stitch it all again, or you totally have to start from scratch again, or you use just part of the thing that you were doing it. So it's most costly, not all the time, because sometimes you hit it right away and it was great, but some other times, and the magicians understand that a lot too.
Right. Well, most of the magicians that you work with are highly successful.
So I've been very lucky to work, I think, with the la creme de la creme.
I think you have an ability to listen and to get the feeling of the person that you're working with, if it's a one-on-one experience, not an entire show. And I think you're able to tap into that, and then you create an image and a costume and a look that reflects what they really want and are inside. And I think that's a great gift. Can you just touch a little bit for the viewers at home, how important your image is on and off stage?
I think the ability to listen is the ability to grow and make it and do it a good job, because you have the ability and the position to actually change a few things, but inside of the original idea that that person wanted it, because that person come with that idea for a reason. So you cannot just discard it and say, you know, you think this is not really work. You thought it's important. I'm here just to like make it, maybe it's already better. Maybe I don't even have to do more than just build the costume. But if it needs more refined, or it needs to be make it a little bit more interesting, or a little bit bigger or something, then I'm there for that. But the original idea is that person's dream, and you have to respect that to actually be successful, because you can create a lot of animosity. That's how you say it.
Yes.
And people will not feel comfortable coming to you again because they feel like you don't trust the ideas. For me, it's very important to respect people's original concept.
Right. No, I think that's a fabulous point, because they believed in it enough to come in and discuss it with you.
One secret that I learned from a book that I read one time is ask and ask again what the people want, and just write and write all the stuff. It even sounds corny or silly or whatever. You just say, okay, what is what you want, and what are you visualizing, what colors and what textures and what era, and like just keep asking. It's like a great recipe at the end, and all those things that you just bring out of the person, they keep thinking and visualizing that person, that character they want to be. It gives you the foundation or build something they're going to be happy with it.
Can you tell about a little bit about Joaquin and his experience?
Well, he is a very passionate person. He's a great friend, very, very great friend. He has more energy than what a person should have. And we work really well together. He trusts a lot of what we were putting the costumes on him. Even he created his own character with his masks and all this kabuki idea. When we changed it a little bit because the production needed a different, he felt comfortable with it, because almost it was the aesthetics of a very oriental what we create, but it was more tribal. But at the same time, it had his character on it. So it was a very interesting how he accepted the change out of his own character that he created for so many years. So it was a great working for him.
Yeah, I think adaptability, not being set and locked into, you know, your comfort zone, and being willing to try other things. I think that is really important to your growth.
It hurts a little bit sometimes, you know, like for instance, myself, I've been here for 22 years with Carnival. And sometimes they're asking you kind of like change a little bit what you've been doing for too many years, so you're very in your comfort zone, and you're like, they don't trust me, but it's not that. The only thing is actually sometimes they see you can do even more. So it's a way to grow always. It's a way to grow from there, to let yourself evolve. Keep your essence, but evolving.
What do you think, or how do you think magic could grow?
That's a different question today, because I think something that magic was holding back in the past, very long in the past, it was the seclusion of magicians. They want to be all by themselves. They don't want to share secrets. They didn't want to share styles or anything. I think today magicians, they have so trust on each other much more than before. They're grown already by themselves. It's like the way you actually taking this thing about the women magicians, or like the people actually have conferences of magic conferences. Like, I think the myth of being chose all secret has changed into like sharing.
Lucio, how important is a team to you?
Without a team, you cannot do it. You can be as strong as you can be creative, you can be passionate, but like without a team, and especially if you have to trust your team, and especially if you made that team, is because you trust to them. My mom used to say, we all read the book in a different way, and we ended at the end, but we all read in a different ways. You don't have to saw the same way that I saw. You don't have to see how I do a pattern, or how I put my machine the same. The idea is we all go ending at the same place.
Yeah, but you have members of your team that have been with you for a long time. Some of your seamstresses have.
Oh, I have seamstresses for 25 years, 15 years, and it's like a big family. We used to travel to Europe, bringing the ships, and we were like 12 people, like a little docks, and it's like all in a line in Venice and a line in Paris, and like and all these seamstresses, and like amazing. I call them teachers for me. All these people I saw, and they had the ability to do all these things. They're my teachers. They're my mentors. It's like maybe I put the team together because I was the one I was hired to do the job, but they are definitely the support of this company. Our oldest lady, she had 89 years old, and she was still coming to the house and sewing and having her coffee, and tell me, well, she's one of my biggest teachers.
Yeah, wonderful.
You don't do this by yourself. You have to have people behind you. You have a good partner. You have to have a good family. You have to be thankful for what you have to be able to make these dreams come true for yourself and for the others.
To the viewers, Lucio is based out of Las Vegas, but he's actually not in Las Vegas at the moment. And this is great news because we are coming out of this pandemic. He's actually working. Can you tell the viewers a little bit about what you're doing right now?
Well, 3 days ago, we finally took our first plane coming to Florida, to the Carnival Studios. And we're trying to actually put these shows together. They were stopped in the middle of this pandemic. So after a year and a half, we start looking at the costumes again, and we start seeing people around us. Everybody's vaccinated. Everybody's really conscious of the distance. I'm really glad the entertainment department has fighted so much and don't crumble after this pandemic. If I show you backstage where I have all my costumes, you will not believe the amount of costumes they are. You will not believe. Costume staging. Are you ready?
Yep. Oh, wow. And this is just for one ship.
This is one ship.
Oh my goodness. How many costumes would be there in total, Lucio?
Oh my God, I haven't counted them yet, but there are more than 800 costumes.
More than 800, wow. And that's for 1 week cruise.
Yeah. The sewing.
Oh yeah, sewing stations. Yeah, so do you have them go into the first room for fittings, and then this is where your costumers and your seamstresses will be?
Yes. So I think working for magicians, that was my beginning of like designing in a more bigger scale, because before it was like just like a more small little costumes, and the magicians, I think they give me the opportunity, and they trust me because I was really passionate about it when they were talking to me about things. So it's been a very interesting experience working with you guys.
Well, and you've done a lot of work for Mark and Ginger. Can you talk a little bit about working with them? Because their Carnival of Wonder show was fabulous.
That show was so beautiful. And I have the honor to design every costume for that show, every costume. And it took a lot of work and a lot of patience, but they're beautiful people to work with. They're so beautiful, not only outside, but inside. They're like very, very nice people. And I did Ginger's wedding gown too.
Just a small little detail.
Just a little detail. She trusts me to do her wedding gown. So it was like amazing thing too.
Yeah. No, I think they trust you 100%, Lucio.
Yeah. And it's very interesting to working with you guys because you trust that person to actually tell some secrets and tell what you wanted and actually put yourself in the hands of somebody that's actually going to make you look good, is going to be able to cover and all those secrets and everything.
Now I know that within Carnival and also within, for example, Dick Foster Productions, you've worked within Magic Productions as well.
There was a couple of shows, the whole entire theme was magic involved. And every number, it has a little trick, or it has a little magic, a levitation, or disappearance, like how you call it, switch. So it's like, so it was very interesting to sit on those meetings and go to like, here in this part of the music, the girl is going to start disappearing. And so it's like a storybook that you go through. Instead, like just creating like a 30-minute show for a magician, a solo. A solo is, you have your own story and you try to give the audience like a guidance through what you're doing, but a production show when you have like 40 dancers and 5 singers, and you have one magician that sometimes it's actually 2 because they're switching back and forth and so like that. So it is super interesting, but it's very stressful. It involves a lot of time.
I know that you have great attention to detail, and that's what makes you so successful. So that attention to detail, I think, is a huge benefit for magicians that work with you, because magic is in the details.
Well, that's when you actually can see if you hide in something or you don't hide in something. So, and yeah, I think I'm very, very particular at details. And I think comes from coming from an artistic family, a very talented father painter, and a mother that was just like very into the detail of how to speak, write, and all that. That's another way to learn a lot, watching people.
Right.
Like I would recommend that to a lot of people that wants to create an image, a character. Just watch people. Sometimes go to a restaurant, sit in front of a window, and just to see how many people pass by. And honestly, it's like their costumes. Some people wear an amazing costumes.
Lucio, that the fact that you were a dancer and now you're creating costumes for people that move, whether they're dancers, singers, magicians, but you have an experience actually physically wearing the costumes. So I think that gives you a great benefit over somebody that's just a designer.
Oh, it's advantage on my side, definitely. Like before I even put the costumes on a person, I'm like, she's not going to be able to do splits, or she's not going to be able to do flips, so she's not going to be able to fly. Or so I wear things that I know that were like constricting me as to be a dancer, because the fabrics or the way it was constructed, that was too heavy, or etc. So I design pretty much thinking always it is comfortable. Some other times I don't, and I sacrifice that for beauty. Like, and I say, and I coordinate with the choreographer. Like, I don't think she should be dancing very much here, but I think she should be just parading and just posing and be just this goddess, beautiful woman. So a lot of the choreographers, they really let me have a little bit of that in the shows.
Yeah, a little bit of leeway. That also comes because you have been working with Carnival. How many years have you been with them now?
22.
Yeah. So, I mean, they're a family. They know that they can count on you and respect you, and you will pull a rabbit out of a hat.
Yes. And it's every year is more difficult because like, then you have to put another rabbit out of the hat. So how many times you can actually surprise the customer? Or how many times you can surprise the same person that you work for 22 years? But they're really good. They bring in new directors all the time. So it's like new food, new ideas, fresh concept. So for me, it's a benefit already when you have a new director on the table.
Do you think that watching your father paint, it allowed you to have this ability to create? And you do beautiful sketches, Lucio.
Oh, thank you, Connie. You grew up with that atmosphere when painters were coming to the house. So my dad was putting opera. My dad was bringing like a book of Leonardo da Vinci, and he's like, okay, you guys come here, let's just look at it. The whole time we grew up with that artistic surroundings.
Yeah. Lucio, if I had to ask you, because we've been going through keys, what is the key to your success?
One that I say was listening. Don't be arrogant. Arrogancy doesn't give you anything. You can be arrogant when you're by yourself and you look at the costumes and you say, oh my God, I'm so good, but when it's finished, when it's all finished and you see it like somebody on stage, you're like, oh my God, I can't believe it. It's me. I'm so good. But that's just like a little joke inside yourself. But I don't think you should be arrogant. That doesn't really give you. And very, very important, like we say, have a great team. And another thing is be responsible. And don't say, yes, you can, if you cannot do it.
I think that's fabulous advice. Thank you so much. I'm so interested to see the questions that people are going to propose to you, because I think there's a great demand for costume insight, and also for a designer that, to have access to a designer, because not everybody has access to a designer. So yeah we'll take some
just to say one more thing, I didn't consider myself, when the people call me designer, I say, that's really big title. I just do what I like. I do like, I never thought I was going to be doing this, especially for this long. So I feel very, very lucky to do what I like to do.
Thank you so much for taking the time during a setup.
This is great, especially it's the lunchtime for me, so it's perfect.
There was an interesting question that was proposed. It was by Stephen Fowler, and he said, do costume makers and anyone else involved in magic shows, are they required to sign a form, a non-disclosure agreement about the secrets and magic methods? Now, I know myself personally, and for the cruise lines that I work with, everyone, not the technicians, but all of the cast, sign a non-disclosure agreement that they won't reveal the secrets. They'll work with other magicians, but they won't. But they won't say how we executed the magic, and they won't reveal to the public how the magic is executed. And so I know that we do that. Have you had that experience as well with the magicians that you've worked with, Lucio?
Yes, especially because if you will give the secrets, you spoil that surprise, and you just kill that child inside of the person when you actually tell them how the magicians does something. So, and I think it's something you should have it on yourself, even if you don't sign a paper, that you should be quiet about it. Even if somebody doesn't ask you to sign the paper, you should be professional enough to don't tell people that and don't spoil it.
Ethics and integrity. But I also
100%.
think there is a power of having somebody sign their name, because when you sign your name to a document, it gives it more value. So I definitely would suggest.
I would recommend always that we have to sign a paper of disclosure.
Robin Pierce has a question. He said, do you build costumes with the idea of being able to update them as fashions change? If you've invested in a costume and it's magically correct, do you sort of make it more conservative or more classic, so that as fashion changes, you can just, again, with accessories, update it?
It is funny because this morning when I was thinking, we were having this, and I was like, what kind of questions could it be? And I thought about kind of that question is like, you build a costume, but it has the possibility to actually keep changing little by little as your magic evolves. Your costume can be changed things to, like you can add in, you can like change the sleeve, so you can add more glamour, or you can actually reduce or make it longer. So I think it's always good to have in mind that you can don't discard that costume. You can always keep evolving that costume.
That was a great question.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, his second question was, if you've created magic wardrobe, when it's retired, does it go to a museum? What do you physically do with magic garments or are they just worn out and they're destroyed?
Yeah, some of the costumes from the past, they've been on stage for a long time. Carnival always tried to donate them to like dance schools or universities or companies. Some of them, they have a special love. I keep it on my house after when they say we don't want to use them anymore. So I have like a little closet with a special costumes that I just remind me how my career is being
Evolved.
involved.
Thank you, everybody, for participating. Thank you for the fabulous staff, the United Magicians for the World, Mario, Luana, Walter, and everybody else. You are just fabulous.
Thank you, Connie, for inviting me. And thank you, everybody, for don't give up, for keep going with entertainment. We have to keep going.